All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to fire up the motor for the first time. It is going to be an initial firing. We are not going to run it for very long. We're just going to take a quick listen to make sure that there's no kind of, clanging around, banging, etc., grinding, noises that there shouldn't be. And yeah, we're going to fire it up here. Again, we're not going to run it for very long. We just want to make sure that everything is, well, where it needs to be. All right, good. Right away. Just gotta get fuel into the carburetor. Almost. Keep pumping up. Stop! I don't know if you saw it, but there was a lot of oil kind of squirting out around the housing of the oil filter itself, and we're trying to find some solutions to take care of that. So here's what we decided to do. On the stock 318s and some of the stock motors, the filter plate, the adapter plate here, comes with 4 holes in it, all right? And you can kind of see where the 4 holes came from the factory, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because there's a high volume oil pump in here, not a high pressure, but a high volume, we decided to go ahead and drill extra holes to relieve some of the pressure, hopefully to eliminate the amount of additional pressure that was being applied. So what was happening was the fuel pump, or the oil pump, supplies oil to the back side of this plate here, right? And of course the oil filter sits up here. So we think that there wasn't enough pressure being released or relieved from the back, which was causing it to squirt out from the sides. Hopefully this works. Shouldn't need to prime it. Yeah. Done. So our first thought was that the plate was possibly warped or had too much pressure in the back. So what we did is we took the original plate and drilled some extra holes in it, which is a good thing because the 318 only came with 4 holes, so it was getting additional back pressure that would help relieve pressure. Well, that wasn't the case. So we went back to the drawing board, pulled it out. We tried double gasketing it just to see if it would hold more. We tried to push the plate down so it could get more grip. That didn't help. It still gushed when we fired it up. We even went so far as to use Indian head gasket maker and put that behind here. An Indian head, if you don't know what that is, it is a pretty potent stuff, but it's also kind of messy, so it needs a lot of cleanup if we decide to reuse this thing ever again in the future. And that still didn't solve the problem. So what we did is we went ahead and ordered one of these filter plates. It's a billet aluminum filter plate. It comes from Canton Racing. The part number is listed in the description itself. And when we put this on there, it held up really, really good all the way until the oil filter started bulging on the bottom side, all right? And what that told us was that the assembly itself was okay, that it was getting too much pressure from the oil pump itself. And what we suspect is that when we cleaned the oil pump, okay, we didn't clean off the relief valve, okay? And what was happening was that too much pressure was being sent through the system, and when it fired up and ran for about 10 seconds, we noticed that the oil pressure was pegging over 99. We suspect as high as 120 or 150 PSI. Way too much, right? So we went ahead and changed out the oil pump to a brand new assembly from Melling. We got this thing fired up, and sure enough, it ran perfectly. No bulging, so on and so forth. The only thing we have to fix is that the oil O-ring right here on the Canton oil assembly, okay, comes with an O-ring, which is really nice, really strong. Because it was running at those higher pressures, it blew out the O-ring, all right? Which is fine. We can replace that, get this thing back and running. So the next thing you're going to hear is us tuning the engine, make sure that the thermostat's working, make sure the water pump's working, make sure that everything is doing as it's supposed to. We're going to make sure that the advance is going right. We're going to make sure that we get in the right vacuum, so on and so forth. And then this thing will be ready to be pulled off, painted, made pretty, and made for sale. So you guys are fixing to be in for a treat because this thing sounds absolutely amazing. Off camera, we had a chance to warm it up, make sure everything was good to go. We put the old oil plate back on there, and it is doing good. Again, the reason it was squirting out so much was that oil pump, all right, and that has been since replaced with a brand new one. And of course, the buyer of this will get that Canton oil filter plate with this guy. Just got to find an O-ring for it because we blew that thing out when it was higher pressure. Again, you got that 600 Street Warrior car on the top. You have a distributor system with a vacuum advance and vacuum advance. And then, of course, everything you've already seen before. This thing is operating sound and smoothly. And what we're going to show you here in a minute is we're going to fire it up. We're going to do a quick walk around while it's at idle. We're going to show you, I'm going to try to zoom in on the timing, let you see where the timing is at, and then show you in the advance. And then we'll step aside, give it a couple revs, and wrap up this segment. All right, let's fire it up, and then you're going to see that we're running about 6 degrees at idle for the timing. So let's go ahead and fire it up and see what everything looks like. Here we go. Here's the fans kicking on. And you can see right there that is showing right around that 0 mark-ish. All right, a little bit before that, it's about 6 to 7 degrees of advance. All right, can you put that thing at the current RPM? Idling right now at about 620, 650, or 750, 720. Very good, strong, solid idle. We'll do another walk around. Let's take a listen here, and we'll give her a couple of revs. Do you want to do a quick rev, see where timing goes? About 20 degrees of timing there, about 20 degrees. Take it up to 30, let's bring ours up. That's 30. Oh, solid performance. The RPM. Of course, we don't want to take it much higher because there's no load on it. You can see the temperature gauges. The oil holding steady at 66. Temperature holding steady at 186. Idling smoothly. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is our 318 block with a 360 crank, 30 over with a pretty good cam in there, 600 Street Warrior carburetor, and your displacement is looking roughly at about 349. We're estimating, give or take, J-heads. The J-heads off of a 340. We're estimating approximately around 320 to 350 horses, if not maybe more, out of this guy.